Hey guys, it's Zero bringing you another video, and welcome to another viewer Spectate. So the series where I watch your games and kind of bit of coaching and more realistic ratings for a lot of you who do watch, which again, the main account this season has gone overall very well, peaking at like 142 LP master. Hopefully we'll obviously hit higher peaks in the future. But I like that we're doing the more kind of relatable content as well. It's a nice balance. So what we're doing today is we're watching Deathmonger. I actually said it's kind of cool he got that name. Meanwhile, level 1 started W because of the invade, and that will start with First Blood over to Poppy Jungle. Invade is also continuing. Shyvana would be my primary target here. Why? She doesn't have flash. So good W by JHIN, double knockup by Rakan. Keep going for that Shyvana, and Deathmonger picks himself up the kill. And that's probably all you need. Learn when enough is enough. Don't risk anything too much. But yeah, we're watching a JHIN game. And we're on North America, so hello Americans. Yeah, I did compliment Deathmonger on the name to actually get like a actual just name without any numbers or anything attached. It's either a newer player of League. Okay, this is an interesting move. So again, I like the idea to go over and help. I understand it, but don't sacrifice your early lane phase. Yes, you get yourself a First Blood, etc. But again, you're moving over, I think, for a W snipe. Victor actually ends up dead to a Vlad at level 1, which is a bit surprising. He didn't even use flash, so that's a little bit weird. But yeah, already the level 1 was good, but then you distract yourself and you're now going to be quite late to lane, and I would never risk that. You know, we even spoke about recently in a jungle episode that we watched high rating challenger players. A lot of people don't even like to leash anymore because of being late to lane. Now it's worth knowing, you know, you got some experience from all the kills, so that's not too bad. So you shouldn't really be behind in XP, but that's where, you know, you could be ahead in XP if you were at lane ready straight away. You'd have a big advantage. Now the enemy team, again, just to say, we're in gold. I think gold 3 roughly on North America, so just above average play. It is worth knowing. It's a Zeri support. Isn't really a thing, but I guess they're going to play AP Zeri and just do their W, and yeah, they're doing that for some reason. JHIN hits level 2. Rakan don't obviously want to be too far out of XP, and Victor actually gets himself a kill there. So you can see sometimes in these replays, you actually get all chat, and you just saw the Vladimir was like, are you griefing? But then Victor, obviously not, just made some type of mistake at level 1 and gets himself another solo kill, which is good, or a solo kill, which is good. Again, solo kills or assists, kills, etc. for Victor of all champions, a very big thing, obviously going with his modern passive. But specifically for JHIN, what would I want to see from Deathmonger here? JHIN is one of my favorite AD carries. Huzzy Cannon, unfortunately, there. Lane phase isn't the dominant thing for JHIN, but when you have something weird like a Zeri, abuse that, and that's what I like. Very nice kill, gets the Rakan, exhaust coming out, a lot of sums coming out. That Rakan needs to be careful and isn't. And now I'm not entirely sure and convinced you'd want to actually continue this fight. If I was JHIN, you're taking a lot of autos to the face, and the Ezra at the time was a level up. So yeah, that is where I would have actually faded away from the combat, just taken the 1-1 trade and walk away. Maybe I can already say one thing, and it's not a complete negative, is your reactionary in aggression is quite high, because even, you know, the level 1 you did well, you hit your W's, etc., but then you already wanted to kind of go over here, and that delayed you from your level 1, and that's kind of the lure of kills, and that stopped you or delayed you from getting to bot lane early, and that actually put you behind in experience overall. And like that is, oh, but he's low, I can fight him. Sometimes you do, one of the skills of League of Legends, there's many, is learning when it's not the right thing to do, when it's just go back, you know. A lot of players do struggle with that. I'd say the majority of players probably do, because everybody in League is so kill centric that when it's like, wait, what? You want me to just walk away? Yeah, it is actually a skill in itself. Not dying is one of my biggest things that I've always said to people. How do you climb? Stop dying. If ever you look at your average KD and average deaths and you die, I would honestly say above 5 to 6 times on average a game, you need to limit your deaths. Also, it does depend what rating you're in, it has to be said, but yeah. So Zeri was just ganking mid lane, by the way, with Shyvana. So again, the over-roamer supports does continue even with the Zeri. But Vlad died to the Victor, so the Victor's not doing too bad. His farm is very bad, if that is true, and I believe it is. 11 farm is not obviously great. Zeri Gets herself W'd, and you know, not a kill, but that's good. Got a Dark Harvest stack. That's never bad. Dark Harvest, obviously on Jhin. Would I say it's the right thing to do? I mean, it's not bad. I don't think it's a negative, put it that way. I know obviously some Jhins, if I actually look up the percentages, yeah, Fleet Footwork is the default on it. And what I would say is obviously you are technically with a support that can heal you. Rakan does have a heal, but it's a very situational heal. You are also against a poke lane. Ezreal, Zeri, even though it's a weird lane, they should be trying to poke you down. They're not doing the best job of it, but that is where maybe Fleet Footwork would be better. Because if they were doing their job, Fleet Footwork would be doing a good job of keeping you in the game, etc. And also that extra movement speed that it gives. Why is she staying in lane on that health? What? Gets the W. Unfortunately, Rakan doesn't hit. I think Rakan was looking to ignite that. Bit weird that Zuri's staying on that health. It is worth knowing, but it is what it is. So gold-wise, enemy team slight lead. That will predominantly, I imagine, be a nice potential W snipe there. That would predominantly be a little bit of farm difference going on. Is just the couple hundred gold difference. You know, mid lane 10 roughly farm difference. Bot lane again 10 roughly farm difference. So that is, you know, a bit of a difference in farm. And yes, your team is 1 kill ahead, but people really underestimate how much gold minions give. It's predominantly, if you're a carry who farms a lot, you're getting most of your gold through your farm. And that is why it is a very important skill to be good at. It is such a skill that, you know, it is one of my weaknesses. We all know that. It is one of those skills that I would recommend if you've got a spare 10-15 minutes a week. Just going in the practice tool, 10-15 minutes a week. Not every day, just once a week. Go in the practice tool and just practice farming. Again, an old tip that a lot of people used to give, and Deathmonger potentially could use this as well, was go into a practice tool and do perfect farm. And if you fail perfect farm, reset the practice tool. Do it until you can get perfect farm for a set amount of time. Is that 10 minutes? Is that 15 minutes? Is that 5 minutes? And see how long you can go for. And the more you improve, the better you'll do and the longer you can go. It's not the exact same as farming in an actual game, obviously, because you don't have someone pressuring you. But that's kind of the point. Nice W into the tower aggro. Exhaust. I like the idea because it was trying to get Zeri into the tower for one more auto of the tower. Overall, though, this play does look pretty good to maybe pick up a kill. A lot of flashes coming down, which I actually think a lot of them are unnecessary. Lovely W hit. It's worth being, you know, worth knowing here. Some really nice Ws. Unfortunate no shutdown for you. That would have been better to give to the Jhin, but the enemy also the Poppy does take it, which again isn't too bad. Poppy jungle surprisingly strong. I believe she just did receive some nerfs, and for those that are like, huh, why? Korea still absolutely love that pick for solo queue. I don't know why. It just some regions love picks. You know, it's always spoken about North America loving Riven in solo queue, but in the other regions don't really see the appeal, or they don't see the strength of it. Every region just has those little differences, which is cool. I like the little regional differences. The regional differences to me equate also to like the differences between high and low rating. That some champions are good and popular down in low rating, and the vice versa in high rating. It's nice to have differences. How boring it is no matter what region you play in, all the champions are the same. No matter what rating you're in, all the champions are the same. Having that kind of difference, I actually think, is a good thing for the game. It doesn't seem that Riot loves that nowadays. It is worth knowing that Riot, they trying their best to make every champion viable in every rating. Nice knock up there by Rakan, but unfortunately it is timed such that Zeri will get away. W comes down, hits the Ezreal, but nothing major after that. Dragon is available if they wanted to do that. It's a bit of a weird time to do it. It is worth knowing. You know, Poppy, I'd imagine, has got a decent amount of gold. Hasn't based after that last kill. She has got 1,300 gold. Is quite a lot in the early game just to be holding on to. And your Jhin has just returned into bot lane. Hopefully Ezreal, again, he is floating. This guy does not want to go back. But this is the time that hopefully we can close up that farm gap. That's what I would say. You've just returned from base. So what I'd actually be wanting here from Jhin, I'd actually want to see aggression. So when there's a mismatch of you've based and they haven't, you're in theory on a power spike compared to them. So ultimate comes down, bam, just annihilates the Zeri. Rakan ulti doesn't go too much. Again, overshooting a bit. Jhin flashes into the W. Very aggro play. I think the flash, by the way, primarily was to block damage on the Rakan to save his life. That's what I think that was happening. Shyvana gets the Poppy. I think the Poppy was trying to kill Dragon, which is a bit weird. And that will get Shyvana the Dragon, which again, remember, of all junglers or all champions in the game of League of Legends, Shyvana gets the most worth out of individual dragons because it is actually directly giving her stats. That is why a lot of the time Shyvanas are very dragon-centric, or should be. If they're not, they're playing it wrong. You want the maximum amount of dragons possible because then you're maximizing everything. The Ezreal, I will say, doesn't seem bad. Overall, and I know we just saw a miss there, but the Jhin Ws have been quite on point. But now, unfortunately, you're in a bit of a predicament. Ezreal comes through, very low health. Zeri, can we get a nice W here? Nice auto, you trade. It's not the worst thing. Unfortunately, though, Ezreal does pick up a kill. But yeah, that was a bit of overstay, but it was a really awkward timing. If you went back, you were going to miss a few waves. If you didn't go back, then, well, if you go back, you're missing waves. If you stay, there's that risk of dying. And obviously, it happened. You pick yourself up a kill, though, which isn't bad. But again, it is extending that lead of Ezreal. That's what he's got. And that's where I was saying earlier, when there was that mismatch of basing, like right now, you've got your mythic item. If this Ezreal stays, which he's not going to, I'd want to have full aggression on the Ezreal. We haven't had that. I think having that priority of when you've actually come back and Ezreal is just staying a lot, there should have been a little bit more aggro on him specifically to force him to go back, and then you could then bring up your farm level to his. Unfortunately, what's happened is the Ezreal's been relatively unfocused a lot of this time, and he's been able to just continue his farm going up and up and up, and the Zeri is taking the brunt, obviously, of the aggro. And I don't blame you. Zeri support isn't a thing. She's very vulnerable to die. She's building AP. She's going to be very squishy. So I don't blame it, per se, but it is allowing the Ezreal to widen that farm gap. You want to try and narrow that farm gap, and the only way of doing that is you actually have to take the fight to the Ezreal. You have to make him go back or anything like that. Ooh, bit of an over-exerted play by the Rakan there, but big damage coming over. That's what we like to see. Again, unfortunately, kill on the Rakan with the Ignite, but that's the priority target. It's not the Zeri, it's the Ezreal, because now he's dead. Hopefully we can see 1 to 2 waves of him being dead that he won't pick up farm, and you'll see the shrinking of that farm. Now, again, don't get distracted. This is the thing. Yes, I know there's a Shyvana in the river. I'll go kill that. Deathmonger does seem to be quite kill-centric in some ways. Just stay in bot lane, power farm, bring your number close to his. There's a lot of gold difference in that. You know, right now, Ezreal is actually still in the lead. He's still in the lead of gold, and you've got 5 assists. He's got 1. You're joint on kills. He shouldn't be ahead in gold when you have got way more assists than him. He's only that because of the farm difference. So really narrowed that down, focus that, and you can see here, he's actually not really missed out on that much farm. So I would have really put that mini wave into that tower, maybe even look for another tower plate, and just try to farm as much as you can instead of wandering the river, which also delayed your clear time. So yeah, that's what I would say anyway. All right, so again, focus should still be the Ezreal. The Zeri, again, isn't really a threat. If it's a free kill, it's a free kill. Never turn that down, obviously. Meanwhile, mid lane is not going very well, and you can kind of tell why. I don't know if the Victor just doesn't play Victor, but yeah. Nice kill. Again, that's what we're talking about. That is a free kill. Take it if it is free. But yeah, the Victor has built Nash's Tooth versus Iron. That isn't a thing at all. So yeah, Vladimir, this game is going to be tricky because you, as harsh as it may sound, you basically don't have a mid laner. That build is going to be completely giving all mid lane strength over to a Vlad. That's not a build that's going to stop a Vladimir doing anything. Again, it's an auto-centric build, and which Vladimir can W and not get hit by autos. So it's a bit weird. And we are in gold, which isn't the highest rating, but it's also not the lowest rating. People should know not to be rushing Nash's Tooth on Victor. All right, so ulti comes down. Bounties, by the way, are coming up for blue team. Even though the kills are even, does go for the Ezreal into the W, into the Ignite, into the Gale Force, and picks himself up a kill. That's what we like to see. And Zeri, pretty much useless, can't really do anything about that. So that is literally the play, is just get Rakan to land the W. In theory, Ezreal shouldn't really be able to get W'd because he's got the mobility, but if he does, then it's a free kill. JHIN's damage is so high that if you keep someone in place for him, the enemy team is in trouble. So does actually land the root. Doesn't have any more bullets. Will run down. Unfortunately, did have a stationary moment there. And that was probably, and as crazy as it sounds, not enough clicking. Ooh, just misses. Oh, one more hit. Into the W, maybe, waiting for mana. We might see Ezreal ulti comes down, but that will probably be it. Probably would just go back. Ah, hello, Shyvana. Try to W the Zeri and does get killed, unfortunately. So again, very kill-centric. I understand it, but did obviously bite you or fire breath you in the butt. So again, all I'll say so far, we're in gold 3. I'm not seeing terrible play for Deathmonger. This is completely fine. This is exactly how I'd expect the game to be. The farm, and I know obviously I'm one to criticize farm, but it is definitely the weak side of your game. Whether it just be, again, we're watching one replay. I don't know if it's always your weakness, but this game obviously is. But I think it's mainly just because you've been so kill-centric. You've not allowed yourself to catch up in farm. So that's just one thing worth knowing. Now, this game, again, it's going to be really rough no matter what. They have a really fed Shyvana, who's arguably doing a bit of a weird build, but they've got a very fed Shyvana. They've got a strong Vladimir, and you have complete weak side with your mid. Unfortunately, Rakan was caught sleeping there. Ulti. JHIN ult. You've got it available. I would ult for that Zeri if that was me. When she's in the mid of the lane, she's far away from any walls. It's honestly quite a good opportunity to try and go for an ult. Yes, Zeri is a champion that if she gets to a wall, she can ride it, but she was in the mid of the lane there. You hit the first ulti, and that was probably a dead Zeri. JHIN ult comes through, hits the first one, doesn't hit the second one, hits that one, and she rides the wall. Rakan might get the kill. Very, again, aggressive. Don't think the kill is on unless it has ignite, and there you go. So again, it's not too bad. You wouldn't obviously want Rakan ideally to have 3 kills, but it is what it is. Victor should not be roaming. It is worth knowing at this stage of the game. He should still be mid lane to try and get his farm up, because I can nearly guarantee he hasn't got his full... Oh, hello, Shyvana. Hasn't got his full Hex Core upgraded. Shyvana is very strong, but she might have just gone a little bit too crazy, reminding everybody she's gone the Ignite variant. Which means she's very strong in especially 1v1 duels, but in that type of situation, 4v1, not too strong because she doesn't have that mobility after the Dragon Leap. Hasn't got Flash. Hell, even Ghost is better. But that is not a bad shutdown. Build-wise, Swifty's good. Enemy Ezreal. So again, builds overall, all builds are pretty much correct, apart from your mid laner. And this is the unfortunate thing that we have spoken about, you know, a little bit here or there with Modern Day League. It's really difficult in Modern Day League if you do have a bit of a dud one player in your team. And the funny thing is, it can be any role. They can be literally the sole reason you lose a game. And there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I have no idea where this Victor got this build from. He's got lethal tempo, by the way. Like, I've got no idea. I don't know if the guy just he made a mistake going lethal tempo and just fully embraced it and was like, well, I've got lethal tempo by mistake. I know, I'll go Nash's Tooth. Or did he actually intend to do this? I don't know. I would hope he didn't intend to do this because you're completely not using Victor's strength. So that's a bit weird. But it is what it is. Obviously, some people do experiment with their builds. I would just say ranked is usually not the best place to do that. But that's just me. So, again, Vladimir, 2 items with also a 10-stack Magi. That's going to be scary. Ezreal, again, quite high death, but he's farming well, as we've said throughout this game. Ooh, W hit by Zeri, uses Gale Force to dodge the Ezreal. Enemy team is looking very aggro. But they are in a state that if you hit something like that, you can look for aggressive plays. Just go for the Shyvana in a way. So again, priority the target just into the middle. Like, sometimes you want to prio the weak target. But a big thing a lot of the time is if there's a bulk of enemies, you're more guaranteed to hit something, right? And that's never a bad thing, hitting anything. All right, so the enemy team is definitely knocking on the front door. JHIN might be looking for a snipe of something, maybe on the Zeri. Bam, bam, very nice, like to see it. Very nice positioning there, so that was good. But all in all, Vladimir is still over here, and he's just split pushing. He has now 30. He's at 65 farm ahead of the Victor, which is quite a big gap for 20 minutes in the game. But, you know, you can know every single player on the enemy team is out farming the JHIN's team, apart from obviously support, but that's a bit of the outlier role. But everybody's being out farmed. And I would say for bot lane, it hasn't been, you know, Shyvana's not lived in bot lane, so that has just been majority the 2v2. The 2v2 that was happening, Ezreal was definitely more farm centric, and that's the difference there. Victor is down on farm because his build. He can't walk close to the Vladimir, he'll just get killed. And yeah, we don't actually know what obviously top lane happened. So obviously we can see what's going on in all chat. We can see what's happening in all chat. We don't know what's being said in team chat. You know, there's probably not obviously defending Poppy if she was, you know, she is what she was accused of, but I would imagine there are frustrating, or the Poppy might be probably frustrated at the Victor for probably his build. That's probably where it starts. Obviously it's not an excuse for bad language or racism or anything like that. That's crazy. But yeah, Vladimir going aggro, bit indecisiveness from the Poppy. Woo. Oh wait, I was very confused there for a second. Big play happening, potentially trying to get the Vladimir. He hasn't W'd it, and JHIN gets the nice snipe. Very, very nice. That reminding, that's Shyvana Dragon, by the way. Camille has not joined them, so they got objective bounty here. JHIN ulti comes through. Ooh, Rakan gets basically blown up by the Aurelia, who is still quite strong, and this is the end of the play. Victor auto-attacking a lot, but that's not doing the best of job. Camille going to do her best to try and track down the Zeri. Not exactly the priority target, it is worth knowing. Yes, she's the free kill, but the stage of the game from getting fed from free kills is practically over. That's more lane phase. This isn't lane phase anymore. You need to prioritize the targets that are ending the game. And 1 and 8, or at the time 1 and 7 AP Zeri support isn't exactly carrying. So it's, you know, I'm not blaming the Camille for that specific play because she was late to the play, and that's the only target I think she could have made an impact on anyway at that stage. So it's not the worst thing she did that. But yeah, she probably should have been at the play a little bit quicker if she wanted to. This is one of those type of games, you're losing the fights, you've got a very weak mid laner. Arguably, you know, you could just stay top lane as a Camille. You've got objective bounty towers, and maybe that would be the angle to go. It does feel weird. You know, I'm not a split push player. I like to get involved. And if your team is losing a fight and you're the top laner, it's like, hey guys, I got the objective bounty tower. It still doesn't feel great no matter what, but it's never going to. You know, you join the fight, you die, you stay top lane, you get a tower, but your whole team dies. It's like, well. Vladimir obviously got that aggression if he wants to just invade anytime he wants. He can practically do anything he wants at this stage. He is Wing. Camille needs to get one shot, does practically get one comboed. Poppy ultimate gets rid of that. Zeri's going to try and hunt down Poppy, but she might end up dead. JHIN W into the Gale Force gets the kill. So unfortunately, you know, the Zeri is basically feeding like crazy this game. It just doesn't really matter, you know. Every role can be the reason you lose a game, but I would say there is a priority list on it. And a mid laner doing quite poorly is 9 times out of 10 a bigger bad thing than the mid laner. Or a support isn't as bad as a mid laner doing bad. You know, there are a little bit of tiers. Because let's be honest, the support isn't supposed to be killing everybody and carrying and doing the damage, where the mid laner is supposed to be doing that. So, yeah. So at this stage of the game, the only thing you can practically do, and one thing that, again, it's one of the notes that we've been speaking about most of this game, is trying to bring up that farm level. You're getting boxed into your base, so you actually have constant minions flooding into your base, is maximizing as much as you can. Again, 123 farm in 24 minutes isn't the highest, obviously. Try to bring up that score as much as you can, and in reality, what I would say, as long as you're safe, it's one of those things that potentially you could ping away your support and try to get solo XP. Trying to raise your individual level, and the quickest way you do that is by yourself solo XP. That would be pretty high value right now. So sticking out in bot lane, clearing a few waves by yourself, trying to raise that solo experience would actually be very valuable. The amount of stats you actually get from individual level ups isn't obviously as good generally as items, but it's pretty valuable. The Camille gets herself a kill on the Ezreal in a 2v1, which isn't too bad. Good job. Rakan His ultis have been a little bit weird, is worth saying. He actually mucks up his W there. JHIN does a nice aggressive play, hits the W, which again, we've seen some nice Ws. Rakan with a good knock-up, JHIN with another. Lovely. So again, I can't really fault the bot lane. You know, the Deathmonger, he does go down the Rakan, but that's still not too bad. I can't fault the JHIN and the Rakan too much this game. Apart from farm, being a bit more farm-centric and all that, honestly, it's not too bad at all. The Ws, oh, good flash, really good flash. You did need to do that as well because Aurelia would have killed you. Poppy doing her best to keep away. Still gonna die. Aurelia, obviously, just one of those crazy champions, and will still pick up a double kill. That's Aurelia in a nutshell. Again, it was a good flash as well. You would have died much earlier if you didn't even do that. But Aurelia. So, game is looking pretty rough. Bit of a weird build, it has to be said, for Aurelia. Thornmail isn't typically what I would go. Again, Aurelia, one thing I do not miss from all chat is these type of people. I do find them really weird. I don't know if anybody else does. Like, self-congratulatory behavior in all chat, to me, is just the weirdest thing in the world. But people do it in every video game. It's not just League. We all have that friend that does, play-by-play running, like commentary of their own game about, like, when it's not their job of streaming, by the way. But, yeah, we all have that friend you play COD with, and you're like, dude, I know what you're doing. I'm in the game with you. Yeah, Victor, I don't really know why he's going for that. Ooh, Poppy ultsies. Can she actually get into the pit? No. Oh, the idea was good. She just couldn't get there at the right time. And that will probably be the end of that play. JHIN might look for a snipe. There was a low Ezreal in the area, but I don't think he has vision to go for it. So again, it is worth knowing we haven't seen the JHIN farming for a little while now. So if that's the one thing you get from this commentary, because overall, it's not bad. You know, the aggression's nice. The Ws have been very good. The ultis maybe could be a little bit better here or there, but it's not terrible at all. The aggression of when to know to go for aggression has actually... Oh, good Gale Force. I think that was actually going to latch. Zeri gets the solo kill on Rakan. But yeah, overall, there's a lot of ticks in the boxes. The biggest thing for an AD carry, like I would even say most AD carries are more farm-centric than most mid laners. That's the part of the game we really need to raise up. But as long as you know that, then it... that was a Shyvana E and an Ezra ult combined. But that is something that you can work on easily. You know, that isn't the worst thing in the world. It honestly, I think it's more of a mentality thing. I think you can easily be fine at farm. It's one thing that I struggle with. I'm not a very selfish player. I think most people will probably agree to that. You will see me very often give kills and go, oh, no, I'll give the teammate that kill. But in solo queue, sometimes being selfish is the better thing to do. But especially for an AD carry, be selfish with farm. You know, whenever you're grouping with your team, the AD carry should be the one that gets it. Like right now, you should be here. Poppy should not be taking this farm. You should be taking this farm. But right now, you're walking bot lane because you might see an opportunity to hit a W on the Aurelia. It's that mentality that you need to go of like what is guaranteed gold versus what is potential gold. The guaranteed gold was going mid lane and getting that farm. The potential gold is trying to make something happen here against quite a fed enemy team. And now you're going to end up dead, which is no gold. So it's that shift of the way you get yourself back in this game is making money. And yeah, you do make money if you kill the enemy team, definitely, but it's harder to do. They've got Dragon Soul. It's a harder guarantee of gold. There's no guarantee, but it is a guarantee if you just stayed mid lane and killed a minion wave or two. So I would say that's a bit of a mental shift that I would potentially say. What I would say about the JHIN's playstyle and Deathmonger's playstyle, if you won lane and you really were on it and you were killing them and everything was going well, I could see your playstyle being quite snowbally, potentially. You know, I would see you taking the initiative and going for it, which is good. It's just these games are the games that really test the player, where, you know, the individual does make the difference. Now, what I would say, and just to say, why did we watch a loss? This is what Deathmonger wanted. So every single time that someone's in one of these viewer spectates, they can tell me what game they wanted. And all Deathmonger said was he wants a JHIN game and he wants it to be one of the losses. So this is the game that we selected. So overall, there's a lot of good things. There could be better things. But ultimately, what I would say, and you can't hide behind it, this game, a lot of it was a little bit of a mid lane diff, caused a snowball effect. You didn't have a mid lane in this game. He did very little damage. You know, in actual reality, he didn't control a Vladimir. He's 100 farm down. it was going to always be a hard game no matter what. Vladimir, I would say 9 times out of 10 is going to kill you as even a strong AD carry. That's just the nature of Vlad. So it was always going to be a hard game. If it was a neutral mid lane, then this game would have probably been a lot closer. But alas, it wasn't. So yes, the Shyvana also got fed, but arguably the Shyvana also got quite fed off mid lane a bit and a bit of top lane. But ultimately, not too bad at all. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. You can take some of the advice that I would say. Again, one of the things that we mentioned is when you have, when the bases, when you went back to lane and Ezreal had yet to base, I would have liked to see more aggression to bully him out of the lane. Because when you weren't bullying him out of the lane, like, yeah, you killed Zeri again. That's good. But Ezreal still is in lane, still getting farm. And even at that stage, he was getting solo XP. It's trying to go for the priority. Yes, getting kills on Zeri is getting you strength, but it's not stopping the Ezreal get strong too. So it's sometimes just having that priority is definitely worth it. Now, obviously, it's hard to do in solo queue. I don't know if there was duo queue, with you and your Rakan. I presume not. So the Rakan was just constantly going for the Zeri, and that means you're going for the Zeri. But overall, not too bad. If you guys enjoyed, please do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning.